The gentleman from California, Mr. Khanna, is now recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Like so many on this committee and around the country, I was deeply moved, not as a politician, as a father, by the testimony this morning of the families of victims. Kimberly Rubio, who lost her precious daughter Lexi, cut through all the talking points, all the debate, and asked the central question before our Congress and our country. As she put it, what do we value more, children or our guns? It's really that simple. I want to talk about the common sense reforms on guns, but as a representative of Silicon Valley, I feel I also have a duty to talk about some of the role of social media in this massacre. With the Uvalde shooter on Instagram having a group chat where there is conversation of school shootings, where there is conversation of threats of violence, where he's bragging about getting assault weapons, why is there no action? And let's be very clear, these are minors. He was a minor when he did this. It's not the same free speech rights. Mr. Suplina, do you think companies like Instagram should have some responsibility in group chats when minors are involved and you have explicit discussion of school shootings to do something?
I think the role of social media companies is an important one, and you're right to point it out, Congressman. Instagram, Facebook, these are often where we see the earliest warning signs of a potential mass shooter, as well as other social media platforms where these instances are discussed. There's often multiple people in the chat. And I do want to also mention, with respect to the Buffalo shooter, for instance, he cited YouTube for the videos that allowed him to modify the firearm that he had to accept a detachable magazines, which he used to deadly effect. So social media companies do have a role to play here.
And just like my colleague, Mr. Raskin, said that the right of the Second Amendment is not absolute, it's important to recognize that the right of the First Amendment is not absolute. Under Brandenburg, you can't have things that incite violence, and there are greater protections for minors. I mean, it is crazy to me that you can have people under 18 talking about shootings and mass shootings, and these companies are taking no action. So we need to have regulation that gets to the heart of this. You know, Mrs. Swearer, I'm trying to understand your position, and I just want to ask you some simple yes or no questions to understand where you're coming from. Is it your view that someone who has committed a violent felony should be able to purchase a gun, yes or no?
No.
Is it your view that someone who's a serial rapist should be able to purchase a gun, yes or no?
Very clearly, no.
Is it your view that someone who is a drug trafficker should be able to purchase a gun, yes or no?
No, and these are becoming insulting.
And so, well, I mean, so would you support any laws that would make sure that violent felons, serial rapists, or people who are drug traffickers will not get access to guns?
If they are written and narrowly tailored to approach that issue without burdening the rights of law-abiding citizens or criminalizing low-risk transfers between responsible citizens, yes, I'm more than willing to look at that law.
That is exactly what the background checks, I mean, because right now what you have a case is that the background checks do not cover a lot of the sales to violent felons, to serial rapists, and I just want to be clear, when the Republican Party, their position right now by opposing H.R. 8 is they are for violent felons, serial rapists still being able to purchase these guns.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. They're against low-risk transfers being criminalized.
Please, I'm reclaiming my time.
Point of order, Madam Chair. The position of Republicans is that violent criminals be in jail.
Well, no, the position is...
Madam Chair, the gentleman has not stated a valid point of order.
The position, H.R. 8, all H.R. 8 at its core said, is that violent felons are still getting these guns. Serial rapists are still getting these guns. And the law and order party that has demagogued the issue of law enforcement and policing, That party is saying, we're okay with violent felons still getting these guns. We're okay with serial rapists still getting these guns. And all the Congress on the Democratic side is trying to do is to close those loopholes.
I
To say that
respectfully refer you to my
if I-
testimony on this very bill before the Senate
I-
Judiciary
ma'am,
Committee
I am
last year,
saying
where I
that we in
explained how
this
that is a
Congress-
grotesque
if- can I-
mischaracterization
can
of
I-
our
can I
opposition to
finish my
that bill.
time? I am saying that there is not,
The
there should
gentleman's
not,
time has expired.
well, she kept interrupting me.
Okay.